Continuing with this book, Swami Vivekananda Life and Teachings, we have reached to chapter 24, Last Days. Swamiji returned to Belur Math in May. His health continued to be worse, but he received many visitors daily, talked to them, and gave them spiritual help. He also held classes for the monks and brahmacharyans. He would offer sing. He made rules for life in the monastery and saw that the monks observed them. He made them get up early in the morning for meditation. He himself was always up way early. He was interested in many things about the life at Belur Math, the garden, the crows, the cows, the cooking, and the many such things. He especially liked animals. There were many at the Math then. There was a dog called Bagha, a she goat which Swamiji called Hansi or Swan, and also cows, sheep, ducks, geese, an antelope, a stork or a duck or a kid, and called Matru. These animals also loved Swamiji very much, and Matru would follow him about and sometimes even slept in his room. But Bagha was the chief of the animals. Once he did something wrong, and the monks took him across the river and left him there. But Bagha came back. He jumped on a ferry boat and growled loudly at the boatman when he tried to make him leave. The boatman was afraid and let Bagha stay on the ferry. The next morning, Swamiji found Bagha laying on his door. He patted him and told the other monks that Bagha was not to be sent away again. In October 1901, he had the Durga Puja of performance at Belur Math. All the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna came on that occasion. The puja was performed in a grand style and hundreds of people were served with prasad. Later, the Swamiji also performed the Lakshmi Puja and Kali Puja. After this, his health became much worse. He had to stay in bed for several days. After resting for some time, he became better. However, he could not work as hard as before. Towards the end of the year, two Japanese scholars came to see Swamiji at the Math. They wanted him to go to Japan to speak at a Congress of Religions. Swamiji was willing to go but was unable to do so because he was too ill. However, he visited both Gaya and Banaras with one of the Japanese gentlemen, Mr. Okakura. Many people came to him at Banaras. The Maharaja of Benga offered him money for establishment of a monastery in Banaras. Swamiji accepted the offer and later sent Swami Shivanand to Banaras to start a math. Several young men in Banaras had tried to follow Swamiji's teachings. They rented a small house and tried to help the poor and sick people who had no home or friends. They worked hard without thinking of their own comfort. Swamiji was pleased to say this and was very proud of these young men. Swamiji enjoyed his stay in Banaras. The climate was good for his health and he felt much stronger. However, he soon returned to Belur Math. One interesting thing happened while he was living at Belur Math. The Math had a new edition of Encyclopedia Britannica. There were 25 huge volumes. Swami Vivekananda began reading them. He had great powers of concentration and could read very quickly. He soon finished 10 volumes and had started reading the 11th. At that time, a disciple came. He saw the long line of huge volumes and said, "It would be hard for anyone to understand so many volumes even if he read for his whole life." Swamiji replied, "How is that? I have already read 10 volumes. You can ask me any question you like from them." The disciple then started asking difficult questions from each of the 10 volumes. Swamiji asked them all correctly. In some cases, he even remembered the exact words used in the encyclopedia. He answered it very honestly. The disciple said, "This is beyond the power of man." But Swamiji explained that it was due to concentration. If anyone lived a pure life, he could get such concentration. So, this is the end of this chapter. And the most disheartening chapter is chapter number 25, and we will be reading about it. The passing of Swamiji. Thank you.